Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can play NFL or the NBA or even MLS. And get this, if you use the code Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Download it for free from the Google Play Store or the App Store. Well, looks like the season's officially over after a Super Bowl last night between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams did win 23-20 after a late touchdown from Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp. And the Bengals did have a shot at the end, but two big plays by Aaron Donald on third and fourth down sealed the game for the Rams. What did you think about the Super Bowl?
Well, I think this Super Bowl it's gonna go down in history as one of the best, probably one of the top 10. I don't recall the last time a game went back and forth like this in a long, long time. There was a lot of superlatives. There was, a lot of mistakes being made. There was a lot of superstars stepping up. I really enjoyed everything about it, even including the halftime performance. I enjoyed that. So, it was one of those games that you knew that it was going to be close. You knew it was going to come down to the last 2 minutes of the game. And, we didn't know who was going to win. I really thought that, I said who had the ball last will probably have an opportunity to win the football game.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati Bengals had the ball last, but forget about that man child on defense, Aaron Donald. Oh my goodness, man. Cooper Kupp got the MVP where you can't argue it. But the most outstanding player of that game was Aaron Donald. And you cannot deny that. I mean, he kept going, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
As Cooper Kupp, he was getting double teamed. And when you figure, oh, we got him figured out, and you started singling him and your Rams started making adjustments, Cooper Kupp starts to get open. Aaron Donald started to get pressure, make tackles in the run game, and they were a big effect of the game. Those two players right there really were the players of the game.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I thought the second half, of course, was much better because it got closer. I thought when OBJ went out early on and they kind of, started doubling up Cooper Kupp, I thought that they might be in trouble. I thought that maybe the Bengals were going to go out on top. But, yeah, the Rams stayed with it. And Cooper Kupp, I mean, you're a receiver. It's one of the best years for a receiver in the professional football league.
It is, let's we go back to Odell Beckham Jr. I really felt for him, man. I really felt for him. But then I was happy for him to get a ring. Here's the thing that people don't understand is where when you're not wanted in one place and you go to another place and you got an opportunity to win a championship and you go through all this adversity from the first time he hurt himself from when he was with the Giants and all this, he's not the same guy, and he gets a fresh lease on life with the Rams, and he's playing well in the playoffs. He's playing well in the first half of this game, and then bam, my heart sunk. I was like, and I thought the Rams were in trouble, but they found a way to win the football game. And good gracious, man, you talking about and it was a well played game, well coached game, but the superstars stood out. Both sides of the ball, the superstars. The only thing is that the Cincinnati Bengals didn't have that superstar on defense as the Rams did. But it was a really, really good football game.
Yeah, so to end the game, Aaron Donald made two clutch plays. He stopped the running back on that 3rd and 1, which, I don't know how he got to him. They were two offensive linemen were on him, and he still wrapped around and grabbed the running back and held him. And then on that 4th down play, I thought maybe it was going to be a run to try to get it, or maybe let Burrow kind of run it to see what he could do. But Aaron Donald once again blew up the backfield, and the rest was history.
Well, on the 3rd down play, it was amazing how he stood that offensive lineman up with one hand And then with the same hand, he came through and grabbed, it was Piron, running
Yeah.
back was Piron, and grabbed him and pulled him back. That's grown man strength. That's superhuman strength right there. And then on the fourth down play, oh my goodness, what were you? Here's I know what the thinking was. We're gonna slide the line to him, and we're gonna move to the right side and get out of his way and move Burrows a little bit, out of the pocket. But he got off that block so quick. Joe Burrows didn't even have time to even get his hand up to get ready to throw the football.
Yeah.
I don't care who was open on that play. He didn't have an opportunity to get the ball out of his hand. And I and we've all seen the footage of Ramsey being on the ground and Chase being open downfield. It
Yeah.
was probably a double move play.
Hmm.
He probably double moved him and he was waiting for him to get open. You can't do that with Aaron Donald in that defense. I mean, look, Von Miller had 2 sacks, Aaron Donald had 2 sacks. I mean, sheesh, dude, the superstars stood out and played well in that game.
Yeah, Burrow was already the most sacked QB coming into the game, and statistics show that if you led the league in getting sacked, you're not going to win. And sure enough,
Right. Right.
he was sacked 7 times last night. I think it was
Yeah,
tied for a Super Bowl record, if not
it
on its
was.
own. Yeah.
It was. I thought, I really thought they were going to break it. I thought they would get about 9 or 10, and they didn't. And but seven, that's a lot of sacks in the Super Bowl, man. A lot of sacks.
Um, on social media, a presence you're probably familiar with, Eli Apple, the cornerback from the Bengals. He over the course of the playoffs was jawing a lot about what he can do and what he's been
Yeah.
doing.
Hmm.
And then he didn't perform up to his own expectations, I guess, last night. So a lot of former athletes and current athletes were pretty on his head on Twitter
Hmm.
about his play against Cooper Kupp.
Right. Well, the thing is, you just got to go out and play football. You keep your mouth closed because you're not playing against an amateur. You're not playing against a dude that can't play. You're playing against arguably the best receiver in today's game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think you're going to just shut him down for a whole game, you're fooling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, he didn't put up these numbers playing against slouches. He played against some good people.
Yeah.
And the thing is that look, he didn't get MVP votes for nothing,
Yeah.
for the league. And he didn't put up all those numbers, without being as good as he is. So at some point, it was gonna happen. It also, I have mentioned, last week sometime, I don't know where I mentioned it, might have been here, where we were talking about Joe Burrows and the success he's had since LSU and coming into the league and the playoff games whatsoever and all this magic that's been happening. And I said, here's the thing. Everything has been going well for him, but this game right here in front of millions of people across the world will determine, who he is
Yeah.
because there could be some adversity that happens to him in this game, which it did. And the thing is how is he going to bounce back from this loss in the Super Bowl when you were probably, one play away of getting a first down and moving on and maybe, winning that game or tying the game or whatever it may be. So now we got to see who Joe Burrows is going into next season.
Yeah, definitely. Um, on the onset, I mean, after the game, he looked like, somebody that was ticked off and determined,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
remains to be seen because
right.
the Bengals, they lost 7 games this season.
Hmm.
This was their 8th loss. So, I mean, they won their division, but on a
Right,
record standpoint, you wouldn't expect the Bengals to make it that
right,
far. So they already exceeded their expectations.
right.
It's going to be real tough for them next season to try to
Mhm.
come back and repeat. As we all know, it's tough for the
Exactly.
loser in the Super Bowl to come back.
It's real tough. It's real tough, especially
Um,
the agency and all the movement whatsoever. It's tough to keep that team together, especially when you added 7 veteran guys to your roster that wasn't on the starting roster 2 years ago that means these were older guys that they can move on other places because probably most of these guys signed 1-2 year deals.
Yeah.
So, when you win an AFC championship and go into the Super Bowl and lose the Super Bowl, in a close game, guess what? Your value is high now.
Hmm.
So it's, and we know that it's for this generation, it's all about what can I get now, and that's understandable. There's a
Hmm.
whole lot of money out there. Get your money, at the end of the day.
What do you think is going to happen with Aaron Jones? I mean, not Aaron Jones, Aaron Donald. There's a report that, well, he even acknowledged it, that he's, going to talk with his family, but he may go out on top, thinking about possibly retiring from the NFL.
You know what? That would be, for fans, in which I am. I would hate to see it happen, but I understand.
Hmm.
What else do he have to prove? He's gonna lead the game as the baddest man on the planet. And with a Super Bowl ring, defensive MVP, all those things, he's gonna lead the baddest man on the planet. What else do you have to prove?
You're right.
You
And
know,
like you said, he could have, I thought he was going to win the MVP
I
personally.
did too. I did too.
Personally.
Easily he could have been he's probably most people's MVP of the game. And he can feel good about that. He can feel really, really good about that. And you got to understand, here's the thing. In this Super Bowl 56, the last two plays of the Super Bowl was Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
You can leave the game feeling good about that because the you're only as good as the last play you ever played.
Exactly.
And the last two plays he
Plays.
ever played was the
Single.
best plays in Super Bowl history. So he can walk away feeling good about that. And we're going to all remember that. You're going to talk about this for years, for decades. Those two plays is going to be talked about in Super Bowl libraries for the rest of time. For the rest of time.
Well, before we get off, one tidbit of Falcon news. Well, not really. A Falcon did win the Super Bowl. Raheem Morris,
Yes.
Los Angeles Rams. So
Yes.
congratulations to you, Raheem the Dream, for getting that Super
Yes.
Bowl ring.
That I was so happy for him, man. The thing is, you looked at him on the sideline, he never lost his composure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people can say, well, he should have won. He had Aaron Donald, he had Von Miller, he had this guy, he had Floyd, he had Ramsey, he had this, he had that. Okay. But you still got to put them in places to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to call the defense for them to be successful, for them to win. So yeah, he had dudes, but he put them in places where they can win. And they trusted him and believed in him, and they played for him. So you got to give it to Raheem. He did a great job. He did, especially after halftime when the Bengals scored 10 points right away.
Mm-hmm.
They never scored again.
Mm-hmm.
Because he made the adjustments and he did his job, and the defense did their job. And what can you say about that defense, especially on third down percentage? What can you say? I think, what was it, 20% or something like that on third downs? So come on, man. Raheem did his thing.
He should be a head coach. We'll see if somebody offers him a job, but
We'll see.
That was our last episode, so we know how that goes.
Yes.
So what you got for us to end the show today?
Well, here's the thing, and we talked about the Super Bowl, we talked about the Rams, and we talked about the Bengals. But let's talk about our home team. I'm not going to give you anything that you can hang your hat on and says, "Hey, I need to look in the mirror about myself." Here's the thing: the Bengals and the Rams have gave you the blueprint of how to build a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to go out on a limb and go get some guys. If you're going to keep Matt Ryan, and it sounds like they want to extend Matt Ryan for another 2 years or what may it be, you owe it to him to bring in some guys, offensively and defensively, to make a bold jump to get to the Super Bowl. If you don't do that, don't sign Matt Ryan back, because that's embarrassment to us as former players and current players, where you take a future Hall of Famer and you don't put weapons around him at the end of his career. And if you're not trying to win Super Bowls, If you're not trying to get to the Super Bowl, if you're not trying to implement players, and get guys and say, hey, look, it's all or nothing.
Mhm.
Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Especially when you got a guy like Matt Ryan. Why are you doing it? It should be this next year should be all or nothing for the Falcons. We're going to get guys because we're going all in. And if it doesn't happen, you regroup. And okay, then we'll go back and say, hey, it's a building year. But this coming season should be the season where you say, we're going to get this dude on defense, we're going to get this dude on offense, and we're going to put it together, and we're trying to win it all this year. And if that's not what you're trying to do, God dog, what are you doing? What are you doing? No building for the future when you have Matt Ryan as your quarterback.
Mhm.
If he's going to be your quarterback for the next 2, 3, or 4 years, it's no building for the future. It's win
Exactly.
now, because that's what you decided to do, to re-sign Matt Ryan and keep him along. So you need to try to win now. There's no building for no future when you have Matt Ryan as a quarterback. So from the owner to the president to the GM, player personnel, whatever, coaches, it's now. If it's not about now, you shouldn't be in this game. You should not be in the organization if it's not about right now.
Well said. I ain't got nothing else to say, T. I felt it.
Yeah. That's the way I felt after watching that. I'm like, it's now. It's not 3 years from now. It's right now. Let's go for it right now.
Exactly.
Do it now.
I agree 100%. They got
Yeah.
make bold decisions.
Spend the money. Do what you got to do. Do it now.
Exactly.
Do it now.
Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been another great Bird Talk with T. Mathis. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Atlanta Sports Unlimited, and turn on those notifications, everybody. Bye-bye.